Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, today, as we are moving forward, today we come to a interesting letter that has an interesting character, and that is Jim. Yani putting the vowels Ja, Ji, and Ju. Now, you try and listen very carefully to its articulation because there's something very different here happening compared to the other letters. The sound begins with constriction, okay? And then it opens into release. J, J. Yani, it feels as though something is being like held back, then suddenly it emerges. So today's question is, what does this letter Jim allow us to experience when we hear it being recited to us? First of all, what do? We look at the makharij, yani, where does the letter Jim come from? Yani, Jim comes from the middle of the tongue where it approaches the corresponding area of the upper palate, yani the flat part on the upper jaw. So the sound is produced deep inside, listen, the middle of the mouth. Listen, it's not a lip sound, it's not a throat sound, it belongs to the middle of the tongue. So with that, try and pronounce it. J, J. And you notice the movement, right? The middle of the tongue comes close. Okay, the technical term is the upper palate. Now the sound here, it sounds constricted, then you just release it. And there is somehow a sense of, first of all, approaching, then it's pressure, then there is a release. So which leads us now to the sifat, yani, what's the personality of Jim? Yani, Jim has a lot of personalities, and first of all, it's jar, yani, it is voiced, yani, the vocal cords, all of them, they participate in articulating this letter, J. Okay, try and say it again, J. Yani, you feel the vocal points, you feel that inner vibration, J, J. Then the second sifat is what they call shidda, yani, there is a strong closure. Yani, Jim has what they call shidda, yani, the airflow is temporarily restricted. There is an amount of containment before release. This gives Jim its defined character. It is not simply a flow, continuous sound like f, f. Yani, when you're pronouncing Jim, you first gather, then you release. And also another sifa is what they call istif'al, yani it is light. Jim, in mispronunciation, it's not heavy, it's light. Now remember the heavy letters, there's swad, there's dot, there's la, and then there's ta. Okay? So it is a light letter. Then we go further to this specific, what they call istifta, yani the openness. When you're pronouncing Jim, the tongue does not create the deep compression associated with the emphatic letters, okay? There is a controlled openness after the initial constriction. J, J. Then we go to the other sifat, yani istimat. Yani Jim is one of the letters described as having ismat. Yani it belongs to the larger classification of Arabic letters and helps us to understand the place in the system of articulation as designed by the ancient Arabs. So, when me and you pronounce Jim, how does it feel? J. Yani, let's try and compare it with other letters like J, Sh, and Ya. Pay attention. All three come from the middle region of the tongue. But listen to their personality. We did this letter before. Sh, yani it spreads. Y, it flows. But J, there's some gathering, then releases. Okay? Because Jim has that sign type of contained energy. It feels as though the sound is waiting to be released. Boom! Then it comes out. That makes Jim a very, very interesting sound to try and be practicing to articulate it very well. So let's look at some Quranic examples, okay? So we have what they call like ja'ala, yani to make or to place. Yani Ja'ala means to establish something in a particular condition. Like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inni ja'ilul fil ardi khalifa. Yani, ja'ala. Yani, the jim here in this verb, okay, it begins with a from release. Then the word moves forward. Okay? So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we practice jim, yani, control, then release, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.